out to 92.3, 106.
Can you see yourself, Jade? Can you hear me? You see yourself, Jade? Well, hello, hello, hello. God bless you, community family, and welcome to Gang Talk with Sister Herron and the missing Skip Townsend.
My name is not Mr. Herron.
You see, things are looking a little bit different tonight because we have the youngest guest on our show ever in the history of this time, and her name is Jade. And she's the special guest tonight, sitting in a very important seat, and she has promised to cooperate with what her mom tells her to do. So we just want to thank you, community family, for listening to this very important hour, because you know, if you've been following us, it's a very specific subject, and we're here to make a difference for ourselves that we believe we need to do. So God bless you once again, and thank you for paying attention to what we feel is the biggest issue in the African American community in 2017. So let's just start. We have empty seats because we're waiting for our guests that organized this hour for us tonight, because that's what we're about. We're about inclusion in our community family. We see it as family business because it's a very difficult subject to discuss, certainly with our babies, but they live under the threat, and we owe it to them to make things better for them. So God bless you once again, and welcome to this hour. As we wait for our guests to show up, we're going to introduce the ones that were here and on time, starting with our mommy. Mom.
Hi.
Say, give your name.
My name is Aurielle.
And introduce our youngest.
And this is my daughter, Jade. She's 5.
She's 5.
Yeah.
How old?
We went to Disneyland on June 26th, and I saw Anna and Olaf, and I saw
Jay is so happy. Jay is so happy and excited. If you can't tell, her mom assured me that she can talk, and she's doing everything to prove it that she is a communicator. Jay, can you hear me, baby? Can you hear me, Jay?
Yes.
Okay. When you speak, I need you to speak into the microphone. And we agreed, what did we agree? That you were going to say something important, right?
Yeah.
And you promised to follow your mommy's instructions, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then we're off to a good start. Why don't you say hello to our community family in the microphone? Just say hi and say your name.
Hi. My name is Jade.
And how old are you?
5.
Very good. Welcome, 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 welcome. And Mom, I'm so happy. Happy's not the right word. Okay? I'm grateful that you had the courage to come and talk to us tonight. And as I was telling you before the show, in our introductions, we like for our guests to share what they feel comfortable in telling us is what brought you here.
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm going to draw.
Mommy's time.
flowers.
Mommy's time.
My turn. Okay.
Speak into the mic, too.
Well, I came here today. Barbara invited me. She'll be here in a few minutes. And she invited me because on June 4th, my daughter's dad passed away.
This year?
Yeah. And he was Killed.
Mm-hmm.
And Jade.
She doesn't know that, so I had to spell it out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really hard, unexpected, as anybody who takes your life would be,
Yes.
I've lost my mom. She passed away 4 years ago, but I saw it coming in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I've experienced someone being natural causes dying, and then someone taken away from you. And it's definitely a big hit. It's been really hard because at that point in time they were getting very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 4 days before my birthday and about 2.5 weeks before hers, as well as before her crossing the bridge ceremony to kindergarten. So it's just hard to accept because it's been such a like a waiting period for him to realize how important she is. So it was a hard hit because that was such a big month.
Yes. Well, you know, to be fair, it's a difficult conversation that we're having.
Yeah.
And especially in front of your child.
Yeah.
So we want to be very sensitive about
And I
that.
can still hear you.
But
in
at the same
microphone.
time, we're here to talk about what brought you here. And the reason is to make sure that her future is different.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the whole point of this hour, is for us to discuss the things that we need to do to change things for her benefit.
Yeah.
And so, excuse me, I really appreciate you coming because it is a very sensitive subject. And Barbara and Kathy Wooten set this up because they felt that women, sisters, brothers like you have been grossly neglected. And neglected is the right word. You know, we haven't paid enough attention as a people to what we need to do to make things safer for our own children. And it's a hard topic. I'm not going to lie. Okay, my guest is in the parking lot. All right, come on, Barbara. All right, because, you know, I hate to say this, but I have to. Barbara's here because she had 2 casualties.
Yeah.
2 casualties.
2
as if
sons.
one wasn't horrific enough to have 2 casualties. We have Jade drawing right now, but she's a very involved, engaged young lady, and she has proven to me in the short time that I've just met her today that she is a communicator. Yeah. She is a communicator. Come on in here, girl. We were waiting for you and praying traveling grace that you would be safe on the road. In the middle. Come sit over here. We're just starting our introductions and things, and you know, you're kind of right on time. A little late, but you know, when I think of how far you come from, okay, you know our joke is to leave Wednesday, but you know, next time you're gonna have to stay at my house.
Yes.
Okay. So you have your headphones on. Okay, why don't you introduce yourself, Barbara, while I get us untwisted here.
Hi, my name is Barbara Pritchett, and I'm the mother of Devon Harris and DeAndre Hughes, which was murdered. Devon was murdered 10 years ago, and DeAndre was murdered last year.
Come on, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dwaina, the sister of DeAndre and Devon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, now, as I said, Kathy was supposed to be the host.
Yes.
I was supposed to be an observer.
Right.
Skip couldn't be here tonight.
Okay.
So I had to become the co-host.
Okay.
Okay. So I was just explaining how happy that I was that you put this show together.
Okay.
Because these are the members of our community
Yes.
that are the most overlooked.
Yes.
So I'm going to let you go ahead and lead this conversation, talk to our listeners about why you felt this was important to do.
Okay. Well, you know, I decided to do this show because of the fact that sometimes our siblings are often forgot. And not just the siblings, but you have the children that are often forgot about the victims that are being murdered. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that's where we is with the young lady that sits to my left. You know, she recently had a tragedy where her daughter's father was murdered. And so I wanted people to be able to see that it's just not the effect that happens with the mother, but it's also the effect that happens with the children. But then you also have the effect that happens with the sibling. Yeah. And so that was my purpose and the goal for having this show, was to be able to bring it together so people can see it's not just us. A lot of times people come and they look for the parents or mainly the mother, but nobody takes out the time to say, let me check on this child.
Right.
Let me check on this sibling. to see their effect that it has. And so that's where we at with that today.
And you know what? For me, it's too long overdue.
Yes.
We should have been talking to them, mentoring to them, have a special assistance for them all along.
Yes.
All along. And to my, I don't want to say my disappointment, but that's a gap that we're not even, don't have the sensitivity to see it needs to be filled. It needs to be taken care of.
No, it's so true, sister, because here's the problem that I had. I lost Devon 10 years ago. And everybody came to me. Mom, what you need? But nobody took out the time to say, how's your children?
Yes.
What do they need?
Yes.
And I can tell you, my son, he struggled with that. Anytime it came down to Devon's anniversary for his death, and when it came down to Devon's anniversary of his birthday, he struggled with that. That was one of his biggest struggles, was because of the fact that he felt like, I'm the big brother, my little brother is not here. So he would try to find ways to honor him. But at the end of the day, he still had that hole that was in his heart where he was still hurting.
Yes.
And then to turn around and lose DeAndre 9 years ago. And once again, it came, Mom, how are you? But nobody took out the time to say, how's your daughter? Because now she's not dealing with one death. She's dealing with two deaths.
That's right.
So
Two brothers. Stolen
and
from her.
she was
Stolen
that middle
from
child.
her.
That was the thing that was the most, because she was that middle child. She had that big brother and she had the little brother. And now she has neither one of them.
Bless your heart. Come on, jump in this conversation. Really, I wanted to have the show to give you a place to express yourself about this. Because, believe it or not, there are others out here that need to hear somebody that understands them, that understands what they're going through. And that's you tonight. That's both of you tonight. Say what's in your heart, honey. Just, you know what? You have a right to be angry about it. You have a right to be sad. You have all kinds of rights that a lot of our young people don't recognize. They don't recognize that they have rights too. And the biggest right is to be upset that your brothers were stolen away from you. You have every right to express that. And so we as the women know how hard this is. So do your best.
I mean, like, honestly, at this very moment, I'm not upset. Yeah, it do hurt, and sometimes I don't understand it, but at this very moment, like, I'm not. Like, I mean, I know who my brothers were. Like, they were real good guys. I mean, like, so, like, I'm not upset. Like, I'm not, like, I'm at a, I mean, at first, I can honestly, say when it first happened, I was, especially the second go around, like, because, I mean, like, not that, the fact that it happened, I mean, it happened for a second time. I mean, like, but right now, like, no.
How old were you when your first brother was killed?
I was 18. It was 3 days before my high school graduation.
Your baby brother was killed 3 days before your graduation.
3 days before my high school graduation.
You know, and I'm sorry to say it this way, but I remember that. I remember that because he was so young. And it was in such a wrong place. It was in an unreasonable place, and that's coming home from school on the bus.
Yes.
It was just stupefying to think that we were living that kind of ignorance that would take a 15-year-old away from us like that. So bless your heart, I was angry for you.
Right.
I was angry about that.
She was angry.
I'm sure.
She was angry.
I'm amazed at her
angry.
resolve.
Yeah.
Right now,
I'm just
really.
saying where I am today.
Right now.
Right now, I'm not. Like, though my brothers were taken from me, like, I'm not. Like, I mean, if anything, I feel bad for the guys that actually took them because they don't know what kind of soul they took. Like, my brothers were the kind that would get the clothes off their back if they could. Like, so if anything, like, I feel bad for the guys that did it because they don't know what they done. Like, so I'm cool. Knowing who they were gives me peace.
Bless your heart. You are so generous. You really are so generous, and it shows you the resilience that our young people have had to carry when they have every right, and this is our concern, every right to be angry about what has happened to them.
Yeah.
And so we don't take it lightly. We don't give that negativity any respect at all because the ignorance in them doesn't realize, doesn't care the damage that they're doing to all of us.
No.
They don't care about the damage they're doing to our future.
It doesn't at all. And that's the thing, because with this young lady right here, you know, her daughter is young. You know what I'm saying? And so for her to be robbed from her father, you know, it's a lot of things that she would never, ever, ever be able to experience, you know, with her father. And that's where my hurt comes from with her. And, you know, I talked to her and everything, but at the end of the day, this little baby here is fatherless now.
Yeah.
For what reason?
Yes.
For what reason? You know, and I think it's just so unfair, you know, to her, because she has to go through that experience now, you know.
In fairness, all of you are in this unholy club. All of you. All of us.
Definitely.
You know, and this is the regret that we should have as a people, that we allow it to go on. We allow it to go on. Nobody is twisting the arm of the life takers.
No, it's not.
They are making those decisions on their own.
No.
in ignorance and foolishness.
No, I can share with you with the incident with Divines. That young man that took his life. No, his arm wasn't twisted. He turned around and he made the choice to get in the car with someone. And they knew what they were going to go do. Because when they came to where they was, he said, oh, the gun mysteriously just landed in my lap. But then you still had the choice whether you had to shoot the gun or not. And he chose to shoot the gun. But then when he shot the gun, the repercussion came behind it, because the people that he initially was shooting at, nobody got shot. Divine became the victim. And so, you know, nobody don't twist their arms. You know, they go off and they do this without a careless thought, to me, like I feel. Like they don't think about it, they don't care about it. It's just a moment that they does, a rush that they do, and they do it and that's it, you know. And it's so unfair. Yeah. It's unfair to me, it's unfair to Dwaina, it's unfair to their father. It's very unfair. It was unfair to DeAndre, you know. And so...
Yes. Well, this hour is about real talk.
Right.
Real talk, right. Okay? And we don't color it up. We don't cover it up. We don't put a bow on it and make it all nice and sweet, because it's not.
No.
And the courage for you to come and talk to us tonight, having things transpire so recently, you know, say something that's in your heart that you feel needs to be said. Talk about her dad, things that you feel need to be said.
I just think it's unfair for people to hide behind a gun. There's a lot of people who have fear of people. Like the people who killed him feared him for reasons that weren't worthy enough to be killed and taken away from your whole life, you know?
Yes.
You know, and he was at a turning point in his life, and there was so much hope and it was joy in that. And then for him to be taken away from even the opportunity to fix anything or make up for anything, which you really can't. You can just move forward. And he was robbed of that, you know? All of them were robbed of life. Like, that we all are sitting here living today. You know, like there's like, because of situations like these, death hits me so much more. Like there's a depth in death that a lot of people just don't understand. Yeah. And it's emotional for me. Like when it comes to things like emergency contact and life insurance, and you know, like it's way deeper. Like there's no more life. They can't do anything. There's no more memories to make. You literally have what you made. And for someone to take that away from them, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I literally have talked to people. I'm like, but how can people kill children? How can people just take someone's life away? Mm-hmm. And I talked to someone who's a gang member, and he's like, well, I almost did. I said, why? Why? How could you get so upset? You would think to shoot a child, an innocent child. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, they saw me pull a gun to their mom. And I'm like, what? Like, how could you, like, but people really do that. They really have the mindset that nothing matters but them. What they want at that moment matters more than that person's entire life. Mm-hmm. And it's unfair. It's unfair, the limits that we have. We can't sit next to each person and be like, I hope you never pull a gun to somebody. We're so restricted, but we have freedom to talk. We have freedom of what we've been through to talk about it and to team up and unite together. But as far as, like, our reach, all we can do is talk to people who want to be talked to. Mm-hmm. And if they don't want to hear it, unfortunately, they're still going to continue doing the rampage that they've been doing, you know?
And you know what? That's where the ignorance line is in our sand. Yeah. You're either on the ignorant side of this or you're not. Yeah, it's just that simple. And we're at the stage in the game where we're calling out the ignorance. Yeah. You are no help to us as a people. No. You're no help to our community. You're no help for our future. Yeah. And why should we protect you when you're creating mayhem for us?
And that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing that hurts the most, is because of the fact that DeAndre's been gone a year. Ugh. But nobody is in jail. So,
isn't that amazing?
But here's the thing that's the funny thing to me. He got killed across the street from a park on a Sunday evening. That park was packed. You can't tell me somebody didn't see him. Mm-hmm.
That nobody knows
people
anything.
Is so afraid to come forth and say anything. How are we going to stop this? Yeah. If you don't come forth and say anything. How? Same thing with this young lady's situation. It was other people around when that happened. When are we going to break the code? Yeah.
The saddest thing, and I'm just going to call it out as the saddest thing, because that is so much a part of our nightmare, is our own silence, our own willingness to let them go home, eat, take a bath, watch a Laker game, come back to that park and shoot somebody again next week, next month, next year.
But here's the thing that's funny about it, Sister Herron.
Because it ain't funny, is it?
When people shoot, fight, everything, the first thing people do is...
Yes.
So you can't tell me somebody didn't.
You know what? Yeah, and that's so true, because there was a police. I live by a park. Police are always around. We have gang members that control the park, and there's been shooting. There's been murder. There's blood in that grass. So it's not uncommon for the police to come through there. The other day they had some little kid hemmed up on the block. Here, people sitting on the curb.
That's the new strategy.
That's it. That's a new witness.
That's the new thing.
That's a new witness. And it's the best witness. Okay? And the sad truth about what you just said, I'm not sure if it was last year, but I was at the car wash on Florence and Western. Mm-hmm. It was a Sunday water giveaway. We were out by Southwest College when my friend drives up in the parking lot, shows me the Facebook post of the young man killed at that car wash that same Sunday afternoon. Okay? And you can post his body on Facebook, but you ain't got no information for the police.
Who did it?
Yeah, no information. And when I asked the police, well, what about the video cameras? Oh, the merchants don't want to cooperate with us. They'll tell us, oh, my equipment's broken. And the reason the merchants won't tell is because they have to still work in that neighborhood, and they don't want any more enemies than they already have. So we're kind of caught in our own box, a box of our own making. You were out there, you were a witness, but you won't even give up the license plate, the description of the car, or at least what direction they went, and you saw all that, but you had time enough, even before his mother knew, to post his body up on Facebook. Really?
Right.
Really, family, that's how we gonna do.
That's how they doing it.
Yeah. Well, we're here because we're not having that. That is just being part of the ignorance and being part of the problem. You either going to use that camera to help us or not. It's one or the other.
Well, my thing is, a lot of people doesn't realize that it brings peace to the family.
Yes.
When somebody is incarcerated behind it. Because not only does it bring peace to the family, but it just lets you know that that person's not out there to be able to do that to another family.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's my thing with it more than anything is, I mean, I got justice with the first son. And unfortunately, that young man is in jail for the rest of his life. But guess what? I don't have the fear of that young man going out there hurting nobody else.
And you know what? The truth of it is that young man was 16.
Yeah.
Your baby was 15. The ignorance that killed him was 16.
Yes.
So, too stupid to know that he's throwing his life away with that one act. I just wonder what he thinks about it now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because see, now you have time to think.
Yeah, now he's got time to think all the
He got
time in the world.
to think. Yeah, and that's the thing more than anything. You know, and that's what I said. That's what hurts is because of the fact that not knowing what's the status with DeAndre, I don't have closure.
Right.
She don't have closure.
Right.
Because as far as we know, nobody's in jail for killing her daughter's father. She don't have closure. She a baby. She don't even understand what's going on. But at the end of the day, when she get older,
she's going to ask questions.
Yeah.
And Mom's going to have to answer those. And it's going to be a hard conversation any way you look at it. And so it's amazing the strength our women have to have right now.
we do.
Really.
We do. We really do.
And we're not looking at how we have to hold each other up to get our men to wake up and stop fueling our nightmares. You know, I need to be quiet.
One thing that's funny for me is because when Devon passed away, I felt like I couldn't cry in front of my son. I couldn't cry in front of my siblings. I couldn't cry in front of my daughter because I wanted to be strong for them, but I didn't want them to see the tears that I had to cause my brothers or my son them to go out and say, my mom is hurt, so from her hurt, I'm going to go and make somebody else feel the pain that I felt, you know. And so that was one of my biggest challenge. But then when it happened to DeAndre, once again, I'm in the same shoes. You know, do I cry in front of my brothers? You know, do I cry in front of his real true friends? You know, because at the end of the day, they have feelings. And you have some people that doesn't care. Their thought is, she's hurting, so let me make somebody else feel how she's feeling. And that's the thing. Because from my understanding, DeAndre lost his life for somebody else getting killed. But the problem to that was he had nothing to do with it.
Had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. And that's the part that hurts is because of the fact that
you know his community asked that question too.
By him having nothing to do with what took place prior to that, it was like, why did his life have to be the life? Why did you go and target him? Why did you go and target other young men for something that had transpired to happen? Why you can't go and after the person who really did it?
Caused the issue in the first place. You see, that old wrong, you all started the wrong that cost somebody their life, then it cost the perpetrator his life too. Now you're going to war with who for what?
Right.
You see, and your son paid a price for that foolishness, that ignorance that shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Right.
Okay? Now, the guilt is already set. 2 lives taken in that one instant.
Right.
That opened the door for some knucklehead to think that he's going to go get justice. Really? And you go get justice by singling out somebody that had nothing to do with it.
And that's the thing, because they didn't get justice.
No.
That wasn't justice.
That wasn't justice. Not at all.
Justice didn't come from them taking another person's life.
No.
You know, the person that took his life, by that person going to jail or something, that would have brought them to justice.
That would have been
But the only
justice.
thing they did now was said, I'm going for an eye for an eye. Let me do what they didn't did to us to somebody else.
Do you know
Because
it's so
that's exactly what
sad?
they
The
did.
eye for an eye already happened with the 2 deaths at the barber shop. The perpetrator and his victim. Both of them died. For what? For what? Who's wrong? The victim or the perpetrator?
Right.
You see, excuse me, the victim still died. He didn't cause it, but he still
Right.
lost his life.
Right.
They took his life in that madness. And then to think somebody from his neighborhood or the perpetrator's neighborhood thinks that they have the right to get justice?
Right.
Really? What justice? The justice you just said. The murder of your son is the one that deserves the justice.
Yes.
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 And he's still walking free, isn't he?
That I know of.
We don't know who he is. We don't have any clue.
And that's the thing. That's why I said people don't understand it, because, you know, us mothers, we look at people and say, is that the person that did it?
Yeah.
You know, you don't get comfortable. You know, did that person show up to my son's funeral?
Yes.
You know, did he come along and hug me, you know, and say, I'm sorry for your loss?
Right.
You know, we don't know.
No.
We don't know.
There's no way for you to know. And that's pretty bold for the ignorance to do something like that, to show up at a funeral that you're the cause of. You're the reason there is a funeral. Mm-hmm. You know, and so I feel, as I asked you, are you angry? I'm angry. I'm the one that's angry for the families that have experienced this nightmare, and the one who created the nightmare is still free. Mm-hmm. He's still free to walk the streets. He's still free to do it again to somebody else. That's the part I don't understand. Mm-hmm. Why are we allowing them to stay among us?
It's heartbreaking because the same person who may tell you, I'm sorry for your loss, could be the same person that did it or saw what happened, you know, because they're quick to tell on like a police officer or another race that did something. But it seems in the black community, when one black person does something to another, everybody's quiet. There's so much fear and like lack of unity in that, you know. We don't, it's not like we don't even look out for our own people, you know. Like everybody's just scared that something's gonna happen to them, or they're gonna go out and die because they said something, you know. But it's like you don't even understand how much in bondage you are when you know something and you don't say anything. Mm-hmm. I can't even handle seeing somebody treat someone badly, but let alone do that to someone. And for me to remain quiet, I couldn't even. I honestly couldn't do it.
Do you know these shooters are so stupid? They don't know they're the new slave. They're the new slave, and they're too ignorant to get that they're in chains. Yeah. They put themselves in chains, and they're being towed around to be as useless as they are. Yeah. They just don't get it mentally how little value they are to their own people, how little value they are to their own neighborhood, how little value they are to our communities as a whole. Right. And it's up to us as a majority. I used to be one of those that lived in fear. They were shooting on my block every dang day looking to kill my neighbor. Okay, I had bullet holes in my house, and depending on who I stood with on a certain occasion, trying to be an interventionist, my locals put a bullet hole in the middle of my window trying to send me a message. Mm-hmm. It was like, really? You gonna shoot at the old lady to shut her up, really? And you think that is gonna shut me up, really?
Right.
You see, it shows you the mentality is not straight.
Yeah.
They are just as confused and twisted and as ignorant as I've said they are. And they're too stupid to know that they're being pimped.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk about the professional girls on the street? No, baby. You're the one being pimped.
I
Right.
don't like that word.
Okay, Jade.
I'm sorry, baby. I forgot. We have a
okay.
baby in the room, and I'm supposed to be mindful, but this is the intense.
Yeah. No, but it's true.
It's true.
Exactly what you're saying,
It's
you know.
very
And
true.
like I said, that was the biggest thing for me. Like when DeAndre and Divine got killed, I told people, honor them by being who they was.
Yes.
Don't honor them to go out and do an eye for an eye, because my biggest thing was I never, ever wanted a mother to feel how I feel,
Yes.
because it's nothing nice.
Yes.
So don't go out and retaliate for my sons, because my sons was a hardworking young man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what it was, what was going on.
He had
He
nothing
made
to do with
sure that he went to work.
it. Yes. Yes.
You know.
Yes.
I mean, every day he can have fun on Thursday night, but Friday morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, he on his way to work.
On his way to work.
And when Friday evening come, then it was time for him to have fun,
Mm-hmm.
because he knew he was off Saturday.
Right.
But when Sunday come, it's like, nah, I got to get ready for work on Monday. So I'm not going to do no party, and I'm not going to do no this and do that, you know. And then Divine, you know, he was that kid that was still in school.
Yes.
You know, on his way to 11th grade, you know, just beginning. I feel like the peak of his life,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
And so just like she said, you know, with her daughter's father, you know, he was making changes in his life. And he was at the peak of making those changes. So guess what? Now her pain is my pain. My pain is her pain.
Yes.
Her pain is your pain.
Yes. Yes. We are all in this together.
Yeah.
That's what the ignorance among us doesn't understand. You heard somebody, that's my family. And you're so stupid. Sorry, we have so many blended families. That could be your step sibling.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't even know that you're harming your own family because you don't know who that is. We don't know who we're related to. I don't know all my relatives in L.A.
You know, it's sad. It's because you're saying the truth, because of the fact that I remember here recently, somebody had family members. One side of the family was Bloods and one side of the family was Crips.
Is that crazy?
And so they initially had got into it, but then they had to realize at the end of the day, we family.
Yes.
How can I go and go after my own blood when we family?
Yeah.
Because tomorrow, my auntie or my uncle gonna be hurt, but then my mother and my father ain't gonna know how to talk to my auntie and my uncle, because I'm the one that chose to make that decision to go out and hurt my own family. You know,
Family.
so it is. We don't know where the blended family comes in at.
Yes, we
And
don't.
Also
we beat it.
desensitized. I think our community is really desensitized to it.
Yes.
You know, it's a everyday, all the time thing. They don't even put it on the news like they used to back in the day. All the time, they don't even do that anymore.
You know why?
It's desensitized.
Because news is about ratings.
Yeah.
And the one thing we had to stop, and I don't care if folks are still mad at me to this day, the one thing I hated was when the cameras came and all they wanted to do was run up in the mother's face and ask her, how do you feel about this? It's like, well, how the hell do you think she feels?
Right.
Her children don't even know yet, and here you are wanting her to tell the whole world. Can she get a quiet moment? And that was one of the things that I really challenged them about. Really challenged them. It's like, you know, then they got bored, okay? And they only started coming out when it was a woman. If it's a woman, oh, we'll come out. If it's a child, oh, we'll come out. But if it's another brother, it's not newsworthy. You see, so even they never really cared. It was really about ratings.
Right.
And if they could get that screaming mother's face now they've captured their audience for the 5 o'clock hour. It's like, oh no, no, you're not just gonna come and disrespect us like that. And so they got kind of angry with us. Well, you ain't gonna let us do it the way we want to? No.
Oh, I believe it.
Not when you're disrespecting us that way. We don't care whether you come or not.
Yeah.
You know, so of course they lost interest because it wasn't ratings anymore. And like I said, they switched when it was a female, or worse, when it was a child. So we've never had respect for the news for that reason. They never came to help us. They never came to ask us, well, what's the solution? What can we do to help you?
Right.
It was never that.
Right.
It's like, show us your tears, show us your hysteria, show us the kids.
Right.
Even the people doing the crimes, though, are desensitized to it.
Yes.
You know? Because I'm not scared to talk to gang members. I'm not. I've never been one, never grew up in a family that had them, never. But, you know, I've seen a lot, and I just don't have a fear of that. And it's like, a lot of people should just feel comfortable to talk to people, because you never know, you might help them in a way where they feel like, well, no one's ever tried to talk to me about that before. You know? And for the guy to tell me what he's done, and for him to tell me what he would have done, he probably never even told anybody that before, except for the 2 people that were in that room, you know? And now he goes to church, you know, and, you know, his brother was recently killed, but he didn't go seek revenge on that, you know.
Which was a blessing.
A huge blessing, because you never know. Like, he was killed just after her dad was. And it's like, you never know what conversation you may have had just by not having fear of that person's ways, you know. It's just sad because a lot of people, like I said, are desensitized to it. Not just the news, but as far as what they're doing. They don't even, like, not just being, like, but just, they don't have a connection. They don't even connect to their feelings anymore.
Right.
I numb myself out, not, like, with drugs, but I mean with alcohol, and they numb themselves out by doing certain things that give them that rush, right, to distract them from their thoughts. And that's their way of desensitizing. So when they do it, they don't even really connect to it anymore. No. You know? And it's really, it's scary. Yes, it's honestly scary, but it doesn't put that fear in me where I'm like, I'm not going to even try to help them anymore, because they're doing so much, you know?
Well, to be honest and to be fair about this, it's really your generation that's going to change this. You see, when you tell the young brothers, look, don't be around me. If that's all you want for yourself, I want more than that. Right. I want a man that wants to live.
Yeah.
Really. And planning his future based on living. And if you're short term, don't stop. Don't stop at my door. And it's going to be your generation, because you're the ones with the biggest casualties. I've been to so many corners in this work. And I see it, the majority women. The majority, bigger groups of women, the men that show up are becoming fewer and fewer. That's because we're running out of them. So the women come, we mourn each other for that casualty, and as you said, there's a desensitizing that goes along with it. It's like, oh, another one. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Back to work, back to school, back home.
Because you can get tired of getting involved, you know? Like, I admire Bob because she really is driven, and not because it's like, not because it's a good thing and she reaps any benefits of it, but because it hurts so much that she just is, like, driven by it. She doesn't want anyone else to go through this, so she's doing her absolute best, and that's what draws me closer to her and Dwaina, because, like, instead of, you know, like most people just sitting back and just wallowing in it, I've seen people drink their life away. You know, I've seen people never get up off the couch. Never. And to see them so driven by that, it's helped me get through my situation, you know, because I could have been that woman on the couch, you know, losing certain things in life, and, you know, she has to watch me deal with it, and she thinks that's how she's supposed to deal with it. But, you know, having people to look up to like them is helpful. And I think if more of us do that versus sitting in a ways that we know and we are accustomed to, and not getting involved, because it opens it up every time. Yes. It opens it up every single time. Every time. And it's like, I haven't even healed yet. You know, but I feel better dealing with it in this way than by myself, you know. And
I don't know if there is a healing. I think it's something you learn to live through.
It's not a healing. You just get accustomed to change.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Yes.
It's like when you know your child is incarcerated, you can go see him.
Yes.
You can get a
Write
phone
him
call.
a letter, put some money on his books.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, hear him say, "Mom, I love you."
Yes.
You know, take care of how's the family. But when you have a child that's been murdered,
Yeah.
knowing that child is not coming home, you're not going to hear, "Mom, I love you." You're not going to get the hug. You know, it's nothing. It's just completely just over.
Yeah.
And then you have to spend your life grieving inside and are going to the cemetery because that's what it becomes.
Yeah.
You know, when their birthday comes up, I'm at the cemetery. When the anniversary comes up, I'm at the cemetery. When the holiday comes up, I'm at the cemetery. So, yeah.
That's the reality.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
It's a sad
and
reality.
yes.
Painful.
It's becoming our reality. This has become our scenario. And as a people, we deserve much more than what we've been giving ourselves.
Right. Yeah.
And the ignorance involved in this really doesn't see the detriment they are to the African Americans.
It's not. It's sad. It's very
is.
sad because
It's pitiful.
It's like when you gather up, you don't want to always gather up for something sad. And I know
Right.
it hurts. It hurts. DeAndre has one coworker that I don't care what we're doing. She comes to any event that I have because she said it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts to go in the section where he worked at, knowing that he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
It hurts when she looks out the window and don't see him coming up the stairs. It hurts not to hear his voice laughing, or even when they meet up in the cafeteria, to him and the other coworkers. It hurts not to hear him come over there and say, "What y'all eating?" and want to dig in. That it hurts.
Yes.
You know,
it does.
and so that's what people has to realize, that the effect that it has, it doesn't just have the effect on the homies,
Nah.
because the homies forget about you.
Oh, the homies only care about each other.
They forget about you. See, it's fine and dandy till the day you put them to rest.
Okay.
Then the
Until
home-
it's their best friend.
The home, not even when it's
Not
their
even
best
if they best
friend.
friend.
Not even, huh?
Not
even
even the
at the
best
best
friend,
friend.
because the homies turn around and they forget you.
Yeah,
They
do.
only know you on your birthday and your anniversary day.
And
Yeah, they
And
forget
only
you when
know-
you're locked
only-
up, don't they?
They forget you then too.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
they do.
And the only reason why they know you at an anniversary day is because somebody that really do truly care, that's really grieving, they post. Then that's when it's a reminder to everybody else. Other than that, is DeAndre who?
Who? Yeah.
When's his birthday again?
Out of sight, out
Oh,
of mind.
yeah,
that was my
today.
boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when you become everybody boy.
yeah. That is so pathetic, girl.
It is.
It is. It's mind-boggling for my generation. Okay, a civil rights struggle. See us work in unity to now come after Dr.
This
King and his dream and his sacrifices, Malcolm's dream and his sacrifices, to see that this is what we gave ourselves. We decided we would
They
be.
paid the price for this.
Yeah, they paid the price for this. That our young men would just end up killing each other. Really? That was the dream. And as it happens, and that person does that dirt and then gets to go home, I'm so offended. And I don't have a right to. I don't even know how to express how I feel about that. That is such an arrogance, an unholy arrogance that smooths around my neighborhood looking to do harm, and I ain't got no help kicking you out. Really? I mean, really, it's up to us to eliminate that.
And I don't see anything better than the ones who know that people are doing that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if they seen it and they didn't say anything, I don't see anything better than the one who did the crime and the one who saw what happened and didn't say anything. I don't see anything better between either
It's not.
one.
I don't
But
know.
even people that enable, where like, you know, if you know someone's doing that kind of thing, you should hold them to consequences. You know, like there's certain things that, you know, her father had done, and I didn't agree with it. And I would tell him, you know, I'm not a part of it, and I'm not with what you're doing at all,
Right.
and would let him know, if you do this, I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, then there's other people involved that just enable that. And it's like, you're just creating more to the madness, you know? Like, you're making the situation more poisonous than it already was. Like, venom was already oozing out, you know?
Yes.
And I think people, relatives, friends, everybody, you need to say something, because you never know. That could be someone you know that ends up getting hurt because you never said anything about something that happened 5 years ago, and that person would have had to learn from, you know? That's going on a lot in the community. Nobody says anything. They just kind of just let it go. Family, I'm not going to say anything, it's my family, you know? But I would rather that person get help, and instead of doing what they've done, you know?
I agree with you.
Grow up.
I agree with you. You know, it really is up to us.
Yeah.
It really is up to us. There's nobody going to come in and change this. And the truth is, if we don't care about it, why should they?
Right.
You see, so that's why you're here, because we want our community to know that we care about us.
Right.
Yeah.
We care enough to come tell our community family, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
See,
We have to fix it.
Yes.
We have to. I mean, because every day, even like right now, this second, somebody's child is fighting for their life.
Yeah.
Because that's the society that we're in. And that's the sad part.
well, you know, I like to be generous with others, but I'm fixated on my people. Really, I'm fixated on my people because we seem to be at the bottom rung on the ladder in this country, in that we're not only being killed by our own, but we're being killed by law enforcement too, without any hesitation, any reservation. So for me, the biggest target is on the back of an African American male. That's
It
the
is.
biggest target in this country, is on his back. And how do we fix that for him? What does it take for us to protect our own men that our mothers give birth to?
Yeah.
We marry, we have their children for them, but yet we can't guarantee that they'll live long enough to see them graduate high school, really?
Right.
You see,
And that's the thing, because when we conceive, we don't look at our children and say, oh, they're not going to make it.
no, we don't say that.
We look at them inside of them and say, this person is going to be the next person. This person is going to be that person. But we never, ever look at them to say, my child is not going to live past 15. My child is not going to live past 30. My child, I might as well get ready now, because I know my child is going to be the next victim. We don't look at that.
No.
When we see our children, we look at them with joy in our eyes.
And hope for their future.
And hope and
Yes.
pray.
Pray, yes, for their futures, yes. That they have a future.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, some of the hardest years that were spent in this work was hearing our young men say things like, well, I didn't expect to see my 25th birthday.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't expect to get there. And they have 40-year-old men tell us, oh, we got the count. 40-year-old men tell us, I'm glad I saw that birthday because I never thought I'd live long enough to see it. So what we kind of started late. It's a very intense conversation, and we have 2 minutes
two.
left. Yes, it's going to be a part two.
two.
If gang talk goes on, because, you know, sister's trying to retire. I really am. I'm trying to retire, and people keep telling me, no, you can't.
Right.
So y'all going to have to tell me what I'm going to do next. So
Part
come
two.
on.
But I want to close out with Dwaina, you know, because, you know, she's the sister in all of this. And, you know, I just want you to tell everybody, you know,
Come on, girl.
what you hoping that can come out of this.
What would you share with another sibling that's been through this? Come on, we only got 2 minutes.
Just stay focused. I mean, it's easy, like she was saying, to shift. Like, stay focused. I mean, I know it's hard. Like, cry if needed. I mean, I still cry. Mm-hmm. Like, even though, like, I'm at a peaceful place right now, like, cry. Like, I mean, just stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
Just stay focused.
You have so much courage.
Yeah.
You really do. And I really, I will say for you, I believe we need a group, a special group, really, just for you. Really, I'm serious about that. Mm-hmm. You see, I'm about to talk to somebody that's had no exposure to this at all when I see a great need to fill some gaps right here, right here. Mm-hmm. So, Barbara, give us the last word.
Well, I just want to say to the gangbanger and the one that's thinking about it, don't, because I am your example of the pain. That may be your very own mother, and you don't want it to be nobody else's mother neither. It's a pain that's set there, that's eternal. I tell people I have a hole in my heart that sets eternal, that never will ever be closed again, because a piece of me is gone.
Yes. And their names?
Divine and DeAndre.
All right. On that note, we're going to say thank you, community family. Thank you for listening to this very important hour. And you see, we're not done. So we're going to keep it up till we get it straight. Right, ladies?
Right.
All right. God bless you. Thank you, Jade. Thank you, baby, for coming. God bless you, community family. And Gang Talk will be back next week.
I really don't like that.
Say bye.